Hello, everyone. I'm Adam with Demiplane. Thank you for joining me for this week's development update and community Q&A session. You can start asking those questions right now. All you got to do is go into the Twitch chat, type the word question, and then follow that by the question itself. And our magical Demibot will collect them all, and I will get to as many as I have time for at the end of the stream. We've got some fun stuff to look at today for Avatar Legends, a little bit of a sneak peek, but otherwise we're going to talk about latest updates, what we're currently working on. I'm a few minutes late getting the stream started because I was scrambling to wrap something up before the stream because I knew that if I stopped in the middle of it, that it was going to be a nightmare trying to remember where I was with it. So the team and including me, we're working really hard to get things moving down the road for Pathfinder, Avatar, and Vampire. So lots and lots of activity, lots of fun being had by the team, and making some real progress. So good times all around. It's been quite the summer so far. So I hope you're having a good one out there too. My family's going to a water park here in just a minute, and I have to admit that I almost just canceled all this today and with them for a couple of hours. But I'm going to have to catch them in the next couple of weeks because a lazy river is really really great, but the wave pool is my jam. So I'm looking forward to getting to that wave pool. I hope you've had some summer fun as well. All right, we are going to give away a Lost Omens bundle today, and this is a ton of content. I was just talking about the beautiful cover for the Mwangi Expanse. Lost Omens is such an incredible product line, and we're giving away one of those. So pay attention to the prompts in chat to have a chance to win that. And then we'll talk about upcoming, what is on deck, the things that we're going to get to after we clear the plate of what we're currently working on. And as I said, you can start asking questions. You can get to that at any point now in the Twitch chat. So latest updates. We are live with High Helm. So speaking of Lost Omens, we've got High Helm that is out and available. This is, maybe not everything that you would ever want to know about dwarves and their culture, but it certainly makes a dent in that. And I don't know, you may be out there and not want to know everything there is to know about dwarves, but you're not like me if that's the case. And so I'm a big fan of High Helm, and so check that one out. It is live now as of last week, and then the Stolen Fate finale is also out there. The Harrow deck is very, very close. I thought that I might be showing some of that off today, but we didn't quite get all of that together because we had several things we were trying to mark off our list. But the Harrow deck is going to be very close, and I expect to share some news on that very soon. And then on the character tools front for Pathfinder, we are in the middle of working on some of the kind of bigger rocks that are on the short-term beta roadmap. In the meantime, we're squashing the bugs that are being reported by you out there beta testing, so we appreciate all of that help. It is a big help to us, and so there will be a release going out today. It will have some minor bugs that are being resolved and fixed. There will be some more of that later this week, and then we'll be back week over week making the progress that we need to get everything polished up in the beta like we need it for Pathfinder character tools. Avatar Legends Nexus. Expect some release news, so some kind of target for Avatar Legends character tools by the end of this month. So we'll have at least some news to share before the end of this month. I'm not necessarily saying things are going to be ready by the end of this month, but they will be close enough that we are going to have a good idea of when they would be by the end of this month. So things are, as I have been saying for a while now, and I know that it's really hard to kind of go along with this kind of thing until the proof is in the pudding. But as we have been working on the character tools portion of the Demiplane platform, the way that we have made this is we've made it truly as a platform where it is going to be flexible enough for us to tackle the dozens, many of which we haven't announced yet, but dozens of games that we have partnered with the publishers for to bring character tools to life. And if we had not made this platform flexible and powerful enough to be able to handle all of those games, then I don't even know what we're doing here. But thankfully, Avatar is really showing us that the platform part of that and the approach is paying off, because Avatar has been able to really progress at a very rapid clip. And then we're seeing the early parts of the same thing with Vampire. So this is going to be a good back half of this year and into the first half of next year. Many of the games that you're playing out there are going to have character builders and digital character sheets. And for many of these games, they don't have that at all. There aren't really digital versions of this for many of these games. And so it's going to be really exciting to see all that. I'm going to give you a little sneak peek at the Avatar stuff here in just a few minutes. And then 5e Nexus, we are targeting early access, so digital reader game compendium access by the end of this month. I can't give a specific date yet because we're waiting on a last couple of partner reviews and approvals. But once we get there, we are going to go live with early access for 5e Nexus, and then we're going to be working on the character tools for 5e Nexus later this year as well. And then Vampire and Hunter, we're very close on the player's guide and lines drawn in blood. I think that's actually waiting on me more than anything. So I'm hopeful that before the end of this week, I get some time to review that and make those available very soon as well. All right, character tools open beta. Nothing has changed with our priorities here, as I was talking about some of those bigger rocks with the performance improvements. Some of the Firefox issues. Obviously, we have Homebrew out there. Homebrew is going to come in, some stages. First of all, this is going to be a simplified version where you're able to do some customization within the sheet itself. But of course, we are working on a very robust Homebrew system. And again, this is going to be for the platform. As we start to work on Homebrew, we're going to be making this in a way that, of course, it will work for Pathfinder, but it will also be able to be, utilized and leveraged across the other games, especially for things like 5e Nexus, where Homebrew, and being able to bring your content in is going to be a really, really important thing. We have the export to PDF. I've seen several questions out there about that. We are 100%. We will not leave beta with the character tools without the export to PDF capability. And so we're starting to conceptualize exactly how that's going to work. One of the things that we're considering there is when we first put this out there, it is this will not be the case, but we are going to be looking into making this in a way where different types of PDFs can be the target output for that, at least at some point in the future. So we're wanting to make sure that we don't back ourselves into a corner where we won't be able to do that. All right, let's look for a few minutes at the Avatar character tools. So again, this is a sneak peek, work in progress, not final yet, but things are starting to come together, as I said, at a rapid clip, and we're really excited about it. I'll choose my Cabbage Man portrait here, but ultimately, this is where you can select eras and see everything that you're needing to see here. In order to do that, go through your campaign details when you're working with your group to establish the inciting incident and everything else that you do, which I think is such a unique element. Hold on one second. I'm going to mute. I've got a frog in my throat. All right, I think it leaked out. All right, choose your playbook. The adamant, adamant is a favorite of mine, and so as we're selecting the adamant here, we can get into all of the choices, of course, associated with that concept. We've got our backgrounds that we can select. And so on over here. Training, of course, is a big part. So we're going to be a firebender. We go down through here and get everything sorted out. We can buy our growth advancements here in the builder, of course. And then we naturally have our character sheet that we can go to. And for the character sheet, as you might expect, if you have been doing anything with Pathfinder, we'll have various themes. So if you are a firebender, we'll be able to kind of represent that pretty well. But yeah, all of this is coming together, and we can expect some details on when we're going to release this before too much longer. But yeah, all of this is trackable here on the sheet. I love this because this is a big part in this game. You can track your various statuses as those are doing. That's something I've seen with players that sometimes have difficulty tracking what's going on with those statuses. What I really like about this too is that if you are tracking statuses, they impact various things. Like, so if I come to the fatigue area, or one of the other areas that are kind of impacted by the doomed condition, for instance, that is going to detail and show you a note that, hey, doomed is going to impact this. So a lot of really fun stuff coming together for Avatar. Wanted to show a very brief sneak peek of that here today, and expect more news on it pretty soon. All right. Upcoming. So the open beta features list that we just flashed up briefly is there. We've got Rage of Elements. This is a big one. It's a lot of content in this book. I've seen some previews start to go out there. I love the kineticist. Awesome class. Can't wait to have that fully unleashed here in the character tools. The remaster project, we have not received the final files for that yet, but we are eagerly awaiting that. And once those final files come in, we will share what our approach is going to be. We've been, of course, talking about this and planning for this. And I think that we have, an approach that is going to be a really, really good approach. Very pro fan out there, and so again, we want to be as good as we can be operating within our license. So we'll share more details about that. We would share them now, but we just haven't seen the final content. We just want to make sure that we don't create confusion by sharing the approach, and then something in that final content makes us have to backtrack that. So there is, it's not that we haven't figured out what we're going to do. It's not that anything, strange is going on behind the scenes. It is that we just want to make sure that the concrete is dry before we try to walk on the sidewalk. So that's all that's happening here. And then 5e Nexus, as I said, we want to target this month. So this month only has a little bit left in it, and we have a really fun panel that is coming up at San Diego Comic-Con. So the announcement went out about that this week. So we're going to have a special Children of Aire episode at San Diego Comic-Con, and we certainly want to be able to talk a little bit more about 5e Nexus there, at the convention. So we're getting very close to early access happening for 5e Nexus. Character tools, these are the next games. Nothing has changed at this stage. Avatar has been moving pretty quickly because Powered by the Apocalypse has got a pretty straightforward rule system. But then, Vampire the Masquerade is going to take a little bit longer than that. But I would expect to see it next and we're also going to be starting work on the Marvel Multiverse RPG. So again, plenty of action happening this back half of the year. Really excited to see all that come together. All right, I think that we are transitioning to questions. So that means that this is where we start to get the giveaway happening. And again, Lost Omens bundle. Good luck to everyone out there. I hope you all win. Only one of you is going to win, but I hope you all win. Good luck. All right, let's get to questions. Saint Dormatius, are potions coming soon for Pathfinder Nexus? I guess I need to understand exactly what you mean by that, because potions are, of course, available as items. If we're talking about, alchemist formulas, that kind of thing, that's certainly on the beta roadmap here. If we're talking about potions applying their benefits or bonuses, that is kind of classified under a temporary effect. That's something that we will get to, but it's going to be something that we start hooking up after we chew through what is currently on the beta roadmap. But yeah, if you want to put in a few more details there to let me know more specifically what we're talking about there, happy to answer that one too. Formula. Yeah. So, okay. Excellent. The voice in my head, Josh, has said mint formulas. So appreciate that, Josh. Yeah, formulas are certainly on that short-term beta list there. And we will be introducing formulas. They're going to get their own section, like spells would. They are, as you can imagine, going to operate at least in, general terms, organization terms, that kind of thing, similar to spells, but they are something that we're taking a look at. St. Dormatius, can I bring you coffee, Adam? You can bring me coffee, but I would bring it right back to wherever you brought it from. I am not a coffee drinker. I appreciate the sentiment. I really, really do. But I have tried so many times over the years to like coffee, because I think that, I know a lot of cool people who like coffee. And so I'm like, I got to be missing out on something there. But for all the times that I've tried it, I just cannot get into it. I just do not like coffee. So I am a tea drinker, and in particular sweet tea that is very bad for you, but I love it. It's like nectar of the gods. So yeah, I again appreciate the sentiment, but not a coffee drinker. I would rather do water or tea probably. Erythros, Erythos, sorry. Will we be able to pick and choose which unlocked content we want to use, show, share in the character tool, core rulebook only games? That is going to be something that is going to be possible in the future. It is not on the shortest term roadmap, but we will be introducing, first of all, as the remastered content is coming, there will be ways that, certain things will be marked as legacy content, and then the remastered content will, kind of assume the default position there. But it's going to be something that you can toggle, on and off. As you can imagine with 5e, for instance, there are a variety of publishers that we might be working with in the future on 5e. And, some of the flavors of 5e, Tales of the Valiant, for instance, or some of the things that Ghostfire does are, they make changes to some core elements that are not necessarily compatible with, whatever the baseline was. And so we are having to look at systems for enabling traits instead of feats, for instance, if we're talking Tales of the Valiant. So all of that is going to play a role in also, enabling and disabling different parts of which type of content you have. So I'm ultimately saying that all of that is related from a functionality standpoint, and it's something that we will be looking into pretty hot and heavy when we get to some of that for 5e, and that will have the benefit of working that way across the platform. Let's see. Mergon, will D&D 5e SRD be part of 5e Nexus, and will it be free? Yes, definitely. The SRD that's been released into Creative Commons is in the 5e Nexus. I've been using it for the last couple of weeks. It's just not available for you quite yet, but the SRD will be fully there, and it will certainly be free. Free for sure. Mayor, are there any plans to add Menace under Otari from the Pathfinder 2e beginner box to Pathfinder Nexus? Yes, there are plans to do that. And honestly, I wish that we already had it up, but some of the other priorities have made it where we've had to put that one on the back burner for a little while. But as we have some time for our game content team in particular, who's been just doing incredible work, when they can kind of resurface for Aire, we're going to start working through the back catalog a little bit more. And Menace under Otari is certainly one of those that is, if it's not at the top of that backlog list, it's within the first 2 or 3, and I think it's at the top. So yeah, I think we should be seeing that. If I'm guessing in the next couple of months, we should be seeing that one. Let's see. Marshall Marshes, is there a way to check if we are in the giveaway? I hope someone has already answered that for you in chat. But if not, that is the prompt for one of our wonderful team members to answer that for you in chat there. I don't actually know. So hopefully we can pass on, somebody that does can pass on that information. A pseudo nerd, any hopes for Rowan, Rook, and Declared coming to Demiplane? Are those? I'm not familiar specifically with what those are. So if I can get some context, obviously, if I'm not familiar with what they are, it probably means that they are not currently slated to come to Demiplane. But if they are something that are coming out for Pathfinder, for instance, that I just don't know the title of, then it's a game system. Okay. Is it all one game system, or is that 3 different game systems? Okay, a single system. Yeah. Unfamiliar with this, but there is always a chance that a game can come to Demiplane, because as the platform grows, we are going to be introducing more and more game systems. We see a future where game systems will be able, because everything that we do right now is white glove. It is the publishers hand us files and we do everything else from there, which is a little different for some of the digital companies in the space. Several of them will kind of force a publisher to do a lot of work themselves. Right now, everything we do at Demiplane is very much a white glove experience. But in the future, we could potentially open this up for smaller and indie creators to be able to do a little bit of self-service. So we'll see how all that goes. But I'm curious what this game system is now. And I'm sure I've taken a mental note here, and I'll go look into it. But no current plans for that coming to Demiplane. But there's always a possibility. Artemis Themp, what would be your kineticist main element, and what archetype would you pair it with? Yeah, that's a really good question that I haven't given a lot of thought to yet. I'll come back with a better answer at some point in the future when I look at it a little bit more. But see, it's real hard for me to decide. I mean, I'm a big fire fan, so I'm probably going fire. And a lot of that is informed by that other game that we sneak previewed a little bit of today, Avatar. Big fan of Zuko, and in particular Uncle Iroh. I would love to play, or I actually have played several characters that are in the vein of Uncle Iroh, especially as NPCs. So I definitely like fire. And then I don't know. I'm gonna have to. I'd have to think about it a little bit more with an archetype, but yeah, definitely fire is what I would go with, at least at this point in time. I reserve the right to change my opinion when I look into it a little bit closer. Jay Bloomfield, any thoughts or plans on equipment selection being part of character building, like a suggested kit of weapons, armor for a rogue? That is all stuff that is on the horizon. We certainly have a target for equipment being part of the included in the builder as additionally with spells. So spells and equipment will eventually be in the builder. At first we wanted to see how that felt, and we wanted to get feedback and start parsing that feedback as to whether people missed it in the builder or if they were doing it primarily in the sheet. And that was the first stop along the way. But we have received some feedback, and we certainly believe that overlaps are better than gaps, and so this is one of those circumstances where we will likely have it, in both places. And as we do that, the concept of starting equipment and all of that will definitely be included in it. All right, let's see. Sweet Amber 20. This may have already been asked, but will there be an app for Apple/Google devices? We do not currently have plans for a native mobile application, and there are a variety of reasons for that. That I don't have time to fully dive into right now. But the one that I'll focus on for now is that mobile browsers have really gotten to a really solid spot for all of the various types of operating systems and devices out there. We make everything fully responsive. Everything works really well on a mobile browser, and from experience, hard fought and nightmarish experience in my past life working on another digital tool set, trying to maintain parity between a native mobile application and what you are doing in a web application really it is just a nightmare. It's a very difficult thing to do. There's a reason that many companies just don't do it. And so that's kind of where we are with it right now. Is we have a critical path that we're chasing after, and a native mobile application is not part of that critical path. That is not to say that it is not going to be included in the future at some point. Absolutely, I could see it happening, but it's not something that we are focused on in the short term. What we are doing is making this available and for the stuff to work as well as it possibly can on mobile web browsers, for you to be able to take your characters and your content wherever you want to take that on your mobile devices. But yeah, no native mobile application, at least in the short term or medium term. Decran 82 is crafting on the roadmap for the Alchemist. The short answer is yes. That is going to take on different. It will be iterative. Is maybe the way I'm trying to say that. So it will be included. It will be included in steps along the way, but it is something that absolutely is on the roadmap. Cassius 335. Can the avatar character tools do characters that can wield 2 or 3 elements? Not lore accurate, last I checked, but fun design space. So yeah, this is one of the things that we had to put in there, because I've seen, even personally, I've been connected to groups that are letting one player play an avatar of a new custom era. So yes, we have had to build in there the capability to say that, hey, the rules that Magpie has put out allow you to choose one training and that's it. But then we have some overrides in place where you could theoretically be the avatar if you wanted to, or you could be some kind of Renaissance person avatar that can wield all four elements, but also is an ace at weapons and technology if you wanted to be. So yeah, all of those overrides would be in place, and you will be able to do that. The key thing there is we just need to make it, and what we have done in the builder is make it, not something that a new player would just immediately walk into and be like, oh, I can choose three of these. There's got to be a little bit of a speed bump in the way for it to be clear that this is something that's got to be discussed with the group, and it's something that is going outside of the core rules. But yes, it will be available. All right, Marshall Marshes. How does it feel to make tools that bring people together and make online gaming easier? What's the hardest struggle? So first question, feels wonderful. I was thinking, like, it's been, 7 or 8 years, I guess, at this point, since I've been doing this kind of thing, and it has been a wonderful, wonderful ride. As I've said so many times before, and I know it's super cheesy, but I'm a cheesy guy. That's fine. I love cheese. Is that I really believe that if everyone in the world played these games, the world would be a better place, because in order to really play these games, there are some bad actors out there that unfortunately are exceptions to this, but for the most part, it requires listening. It requires collaboration. It requires a social contract that has some level of respect and kindness at the heart of it. So I think that I really do think the world would be a better place if everybody played these games. And so yeah, being able to participate in making it easier for people to come to discover these games and to play these games when they're together. It is, like I said, it sounds cheesy, but I do think it's a worthy cause. And so, yeah, it's something that I've loved to be able to have the privilege to do for the last many years. And then the hardest struggle. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. I think honestly, for me, personally anyway, the hardest struggle is being able to turn it off sometimes. So I would say, sometimes I should just say yes and go to the water park, even when there's because there's always something to do. So I think that being able to have boundaries between what is play and what is work is difficult sometimes, and I do not always get that right. But it's that would be certainly a struggle. And then hey, let's put it out there. We're on the internet right now as I'm saying this, but working in an online space is challenging these days. People are not always as kind as I know all of you in chat are. And so working in an online space is sometimes a struggle. Over the last many years, I've been able to develop a variety of coping mechanisms and ways to kind of overcome that struggle. But it certainly is a struggle. And a lot of times when we have new team members coming into this idea of working in this online space, I really have to lay out very transparently, like, hey, that this can be soul crushing at times, because people are going to be incredibly, incredibly toxic and mean to you. They do not know you. They don't half the time they don't even know what they're talking about. But it's something that you've got to work through. So yeah, very transparently bearing my soul on this question. But those are probably the struggles. But I will say that that the positive things that come out of it are incredibly high, and it's been an incredibly rewarding experience, and certainly don't have any regrets, and would do it all over again. And I can't wait to see what lies ahead with that too. All right, Discordian Nest. I'm enjoying the convenience of the Vampire the Masquerade Nexus, but wonder if you would consider differentiating between blood sorcery / oblivion powers and their respective rituals and ceremonies, so that a user can tell powers and rituals / ceremonies apart at a glance. Some of the descriptions make it clear, but not all. Yeah, this is something that we will end up. So, part of this stair step approach that we've had, the digital reader and game compendium content available for Vampire, but not the character tools yet, is that, we have kind of a starting point out there for the data and information. And we basically have to take the content that we get in an Adobe InDesign file from the publishers and make that available digitally in HTML and the various things that get it onto a website. So that's a big part of what we do with the digital reader. As we get it into the game compendium, we start to parse it into game elements that then will eventually, of course, show in things like listings and primers. But really, and those are very useful, as you're calling out here. Very convenient to be able to see those things in that way. But there's also a hidden or not so hidden agenda there, that as we're parsing out that information, it's got to get into these atomic elements that can then be used in the character builder and digital character sheet. And as we get into that process, more fully with Vampire, in order to support the blood sorcery and oblivion powers and all of those things, in order to support them appropriately in the character sheet, we will end up having to parse some of that out in finer detail, because we're just going to need to be able to do that for the character tools. And so the byproduct of that process is we will likely end up, and again, I can't speak on all the specifics of how this will work, but I see the listings and all of that being updated once we get to that level of granularity in the information. So this was kind of a starting point, what you see in the game compendium. We will refine that a great deal as we get to the point where we have to make it work for characters actually using these abilities. So excellent question, and definitely something that will again get refined as we get a little further down the road with the character tools. All right, let's see. Kaliki Redbeard. I missed the start. I saw a post of live play of Children of Aire July 22nd. Will this be showed on the Demiplane Twitch channel? Excellent question. And the answer is no. It will not be showed live on the Demiplane Twitch channel, because this is coming from San Diego Comic-Con. And it will be a live play happening in a ballroom theater there at Comic-Con. So if you happen to be in San Diego, July the 22nd, if you've got a Comic-Con badge, you can get in for free to the event. You can come say hello. You can see us play. This will be actually the first time that most of the cast has played live in person for Children of Aire. We've done it before in the past for private games and some of that kind of thing, but this will be the first time for Children of Aire. But I will say that while we won't be broadcasting that, since that is coming from San Diego Comic-Con, we will get the VOD for the live play. I don't know the timing on that, but we will be getting the video and we will be releasing that to YouTube. So it won't be on our Twitch channel, but it will be on our YouTube channel eventually. My hope, based on the estimates that they're giving us, it may take a couple of weeks for that to happen. But it is something that will absolutely be on our YouTube channel. The other thing to note about this episode, this special episode, we've got a couple of guests coming. It looks like our guests are going to be playing some of the members of the train from the first couple of episodes. So that should be fun. but with this, this is a this is an episode that is not going to be required for you to see in sequential order to make the story make sense. So I do want to just kind of reassure any fans out there that you're not missing anything from the path of the story. This is something that it very much so is a sidebar. It's going to be a fun sidebar, but it's going to be a sidebar from what is going on with the main story. And when you watch that on the VOD, even if that's later, it's going to be again something that I think will be fun and will fill in the world more. But it's not going to be required viewing to make sure that you can keep up with what's going on with the story. All right. We are a good bit over time today, but I got through all the questions. I appreciate all of you asking everything that you asked. Thanks so much for being here with me today. Lots of exciting things going on. One other thing that I will say is, again, if you're at SDCC, come watch the show with us. I will also be on a Pathfinder actual play, so very excited about that on Thursday, I believe at 10 a.m. Pacific as well, the Thursday of Comic-Con. So Q Times is running that, and that's going to be a lot of fun. And then we're going to have several team members at Gen Con this year. So this is really the first time we've been really heavy in development in a lot of different ways, for the last, year or two. And Demiplane is rolling out for Gen Con. So we're going to be at Gen Con and can't talk about all the details of that yet because we're going to be working with some partners on it. But we are going to have several team members there. And if you are attending Gen Con, and you see people with Demiplane shirts or buttons or whatever, or if you see me, then please feel free to say hello. Would love to meet you. Yeah, I think that's it for this week. I will be back. Let me make sure I'm saying the right. Yes, next week I will be here. I think the week after that, some travel is going to take me away. But next week I will be here, and we will have a new episode of Children of Aire tonight, as usual, and then we will have one next week as usual as well. So see you next week. Later, Gators.